Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to Muslim Teens Deen and everything in between with your host Aliyah. Today I am joined with brother Nauman. Jazakallah khair so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Jazakallah.
Yeah, do you mind introducing yourself for those of the viewers who may not know you?
Yeah, so to start off, my name is Nauman Masroor. I actually came to Canada in 1996 when I was like pretty much 1.5 years old. So people used to ask me where you're born. I said Saudi Arabia, but you can see I was born here because I came here as a baby. Yeah, I just graduated from industrial engineering at Ryerson University. Working as a business analyst at TELUS. Uh, so good news, good milestones. That's my first full-time job. I got in August 2020 during COVID-19. So I bless Allah for that. Yeah, so just like in my personal life, I just starting to build good habits along the way. Striving to improve upon myself, self-improvement, stepping outside the comfort zone. Learning from people. So yeah, just starting off from there.
Yeah, mashallah. Like that's a lot, honestly, that you've done so far. So that's great. So before we jump into the interview, I like to do like some rapid fire icebreaker questions with the guests. So like
Sure.
give like very simple questions, and you can have a quick answer to that. So the first one is favorite book.
Favorite book. So to be honest, I haven't read like a lot of books, but
Yeah.
one book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. So I'm reading that book right now.
I have that one saved right now. That's a good one. But favorite movie.
Oh man, Star Wars all the way. Star Wars. Watching
Wars,
multiple episodes multiple times. I know all the characters, all the actors. So yeah, Star Wars.
Wow, that's awesome. Favorite recent purchase.
Oh, so I just bought my gaming laptop. So took a lot of research towards that part, but it was a good investment.
Yeah, nice. Favorite snack.
Favorite snack. Oh, I would say chocolate along the way. Brownies, chocolate, dark chocolate, chocolate. Yeah.
Nice. And then last one is just favorite hobby.
Oh, favorite hobby. I have started to build new ones, but yeah, from the childhood, I love to play soccer. Love to talk to people, connect with people, socialize. Yeah, those are the hobbies so far I have. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, those are all the rapid fire questions. So now we're going to jump right into the interview.
Sure.
My first question is, because you mentioned that you are an industrial engineer. So what are some of the responsibilities that you have as an industrial engineer?
Yeah, so mainly it's more about like as a general engineer is problem solving. You see a problem, you try to solve it, try to find ways to use tools and techniques and analyze it. As an industrial engineer, you're using like people. So it depends on the situation. You're using people or systems or machines or technology. Use it to your advantage to solve that problem. You're using multiple techniques in terms of analyzing reports, measurement analysis, using tools of define the problem, measuring it, analyzing it, improving upon the system of processes and control it, making sure that it's always a continuous improvement based upon that. So for as an industrial engineer, it's a mix of business and engineering together. You're meshing the two things together and pretty much solving any industry. It doesn't have to be specifically engineering related. It could be a hospital, a healthcare system, or even an education system. So as an industrial engineer, you can work anywhere there. But primarily as working as a business analyst, I'm analyzing reports. Business analyst is a person who's solving business in the organization in general. So you're just knowing the business problem, analyzing towards reports, talking to different stakeholders. Stakeholders mean like team members, trying to understand the problem, investigate it, and pretty much solve that problem with your own teammates and making sure that it's having a solution towards that organization.
Right. So both of them seem to have very like huge problem solving. Like they seem to be like the key components of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so you mentioned that there are a lot of different engineering, engineering spaces. How did you specifically pick industrial engineering, and what made you pick, business analyst alongside with that too?
Yeah, so just to tell you my story, actually, this happened in high school, and I'm sure everyone has this. It's completely normal. Everybody has this notion of people have their aspirations. Like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a graphics designer. But for me, when it came to grade 11, grade 12, people asked me the same question. I was confused. Literally, I was confused. I didn't know where they want to go. It came to especially in grade 9 when I came to high school, and as the I would say the orientation, the guidance counselor told me, okay, Nauman, what do you want to do? I mean, I was so flustered and I was like coming into a new space of high school. I just said business out of nowhere. So I
Yeah.
had to come up with an answer. But that time I was still confused. So honestly, I took all courses literally. I took law, I took biology, I took physics, chemistry, accounting, computer science, you name it. And the thing is, fortunate enough, alhamdulillah, like I have a family who are together, and then we had a discussion together. And
Mhm.
my father is an engineer, my eldest brother is an engineer, my second brother was doing medicine.
Mhm.
So we had the questions like, Numan, what do you want to do? Like, how do you approach a problem? Whenever it comes to a problem, how do you approach it? And I told him that I love to approach a problem in a systematic view. I like to do a step by step, understand. Okay, first step, define the problem, what's going on in the problem behind towards the question, analyze it, show your thought process behind it, understand the process behind it, and solve it there. But regards to like, I just love to do like methodical process and understand it step by step. Regardless if it's a career aspect or a personal aspect as well, I like to do a step by step. And based upon that, I mean, fortunate enough, my family members knew my thought process when I was a child to growing up, and they said, you know
Mhm.
what, like, I think industrial engineering is the right aspect for you. And prior to that, like I had a math tutor back from grade 8 to grade 12. And the math tutor was amazing. It wasn't just like homework help, it was like foundational learning. And the way he was teaching the foundational learning, I was like, oh my gosh, it's really interesting. I mean, you're trying to understand the problem, trying to come up ways to do it. It was more of like a private investigator because, coming back when I was a child, I wanted to be a police officer, like a
Mhm.
crime specialist. And towards the high school, and I wanted to, help out people, try to like, I think I always like thought about being a social worker, being like trying to understand people's problems, trying to find a way along the way with regards to that part. But it took a risk. Honestly, it took a risk saying, okay, industrial engineering. I was worried because like, okay, I hope it's the right thing for me. I had these worries in my mind. I just like, took the risk, and I said, you know what, let me just, I mean, I like math. I like to go ahead with that part right there. So I chose Ryerson University because, I like something that's like the Ryerson University had a mix of a theoretical and at the same time a hands-on approach. And so I went towards that, and I actually, fortunate enough, I had family friends who are industrial engineers at Ryerson University and other schools. So I had that thing as, Bismillah, let's go towards it.
Mhm.
First year was general, second year was a bit general, third year, fourth year was where we have branched off industrial engineering. So more and more anxiety or stress came upon me. It's like, I hope I like it. I hope I like it. But Bismillah, I went through it, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is actually, I really like it. I mean, it
Mhm.
was fortunate enough that I really like it. But like when it comes to the question of people not liking the program, I know it's very tough. I don't know how to answer that question. But yeah, fortunate for me is like I really like industrial engineering based upon the systematic view, the methodical view, understanding the process behind it, and using tools and things like that. And the most amazing part is that it's not just okay, school and career. You can use it in your personal life, and that really hit me hard because you can use these tools in your own life,
Mhm.
and it really helps towards that part. For example, one method was we call it the 5 whys. That's one method in terms of understanding the problem of an industry. Okay, why does this happen? And then they give you a general sense, and you go dig down deeper to be more specific, more specific, more specific. You can do that to like towards your goals in life or towards
Mhm.
building a habit. Okay, why do you want to build a habit? First of all, okay, I want to be fit, I want to do this, and you go more and more and more specific to the specific enough, and that's where it hits you right to the core, and it really motivates you to go even further.
Yeah.
So that's the story behind that.
Yeah, no, but Masha, you took a really smart route when not knowing what to do because I feel like a lot of people just don't know what they want to do in their future. But using those electives is an advice that I heard, and I was like, that is so like that's kind of mind blowing. Is like using all those electives, and if you don't know, because you can learn so much about what you like and what you don't like. And I think that it is a very smart approach, Masha, to like trying to figure out what you do want to do in life.
No, alhamdulillah, like my family was very supportive from my end. And I talked to
Mhm.
guidance counselors, and there was a behavioral counselor there just trying to understand what are my likes and dislikes as well. But honestly, like, I mean, for sure, I like to give advice to people. Like, honestly, if you're in this dilemma, just go out and be proactive. Be proactive
Mhm.
because this is your life. This is your aspirations. And of course, like the thing is, one common thing that you have to realize that it's not set in stone. Once you're in your program, it's not you're going to do it for the rest of your life. Things will change along the way.
Mhm.
Like for example, my second brother, he did medicine. Like he did medicine at McMaster University, and he had the opportunity to go to medical school. But later on, he found out that okay, you know what, this is not for me. This is a long journey, and he decided to change his program. I mean, it was a difficult decision to make, but he
Mhm.
came back home and he decided to do teaching students. So he has his own teaching business, teaching high school students through online or through in his own office and teaching students. And now he loves teaching. So things like examples like that, things change along the way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, don't put the stress on yourself. That's a great piece of advice. But my
Exactly.
next question is, what was your biggest failure that you had in whether it was in your career life, and how did you overcome that failure?
Yeah, this is actually a common interview question that I came across when I was interviewing
Yeah.
for jobs. But one thing is, I don't want to lay out the company's name, but during my company, I was working as as like an industrial engineer, like a junior level, and it was a manufacturing. So they were manufacturing like coil reactors. Coil reactors, you can see like for power companies, so like electrical power, electrical like components. And so my role was as just to like we put like a new system in place, a new product in place to help out the operators to utilize this tool for the product. And for my role was to create like a documentation in regards to that, understand the process. And one of my main role was to teach or to teach the operators how to use that product.
Mhm.
So I had to write like a step-by-step procedure how to use it, write the safety requirements, be aware of this. If any fall hazards or any situation happen, please call the safety manager in the company and things like that. One thing that came about was that we had like previous templates for those procedures, and one thing was that one thing I learned in that company was that how to work well under pressure, and they needed this as soon as possible because whenever we have a new product in place, we have to have a procedure right away because supposing if the operator is using a product and something happens to him, the safety committee has to come into the company and investigate. And there's no procedure in place, the whole company will be in trouble. And so I was in a rush towards that, and it was like actually hours before my holiday.
Mhm.
So the thing is, I had a different template, and I just realized that I didn't thoroughly look at the template, and it showed like the previous safety manager's uh, name on the template, and that safety manager, he had a horrible situation in the company. He was recently fired,
Oh.
and so that name was in the template. I didn't realize, I didn't get the time to thoroughly look at it and remove the name and put my name on it. And so it was the next day was the last day of my work before the vacation. And suddenly I see a group of operators just furious in the production plant. And the safety manager was there.
Mhm.
And then uh, they looked at everyone was looking at me when I was walking across. I was like, oh my God, what happened, right? And then they explained to me the situation, and one operator was so like furious, like, how can you do this? Don't you realize that this manager was fired, and this is truly unacceptable? How can I follow this procedure? Don't you have any
Mhm.
sense of following this procedure? And the safety manager was also involved in this. And I told these guys, okay, look, it was my mistake. I truly accept it. So how did I go about it? Because I just truly acknowledged it. I did not become defensive. I did not say that this is your fault. Like I didn't want to, the defense mechanism, you tend to blame other people. But I said, you know what? Yes, it was my fault. I truly understand. I should have looked into it deeply. I will rectify that as soon as possible and provide you a new template for those procedures. So then we talked to the safety manager, and the safety manager said that this is really serious. And I said, I completely understand. I will make sure that I rectify this. So what I learned from this is that make sure you do the job properly and just dedicate the time and prioritize the time. If you have too many tasks involved and someone said like I need this right away, it's really important. Prioritize the time and make sure you do it in completion. Make sure that you making sure the templates are removed, making sure there's no old stuff behind it, make sure that all the font size pertaining to that is really good, crisp and clear, and send it out. So this is what
Mhm.
I've learned, and this is what I learned in my career as well.
Yeah, that's great. And just kind of going off the last question, but do you ever feel like overwhelmed and under pressure when having to like design something? Like even just now after learning that lesson, like do you feel pressure often?
Yeah, of course, I do feel pressure because even from a new company, like a new company, I do feel pressure because it's a new organization, and every single day I think about, okay, how can I improve upon myself? How can I grow? I don't want to become monotonous. So new projects. For example, I don't have a concrete example in my workplace. I did have initial like overwhelmness and a lot of okay, how can I go about this? I have certain deadlines, and
Mhm.
this is my first full-time position. I don't want to displease my managers. I'm still new to the organization. Um, but giving a concrete example was back in university. I'm sure like people who are viewing this right now, like whoever is an industrial engineer who was graduated like in my year, other people in Ryerson, they know this professor really well in industrial engineering. He's been there for many years. But the thing is, he gave this project regards to coming up with ways to fix the TTC subway station, finding out ways to make the process efficient, or find out ways to reduce like all the wastage or costs regards to the subway station. And his thing was really vague. He's like, I wanted 15 pages report, double-sided, this font size. It was really vague, really ambiguous. And that's another thing you'll come across at work as well, really ambiguous. And this is where like the due date was very like close, and
Mhm.
people didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to start off with the implications regards to that. So my go ahead regards to that part is that, listen, the thing is, you have choices here. One choice is that you can be paralyzed and do nothing about it and be scared and anxious and just procrastinate. And I learned that in the past that, okay, procrastinate really bit me hard.
Mhm.
Back in second year of university, I used to procrastinate my physics exam, and I didn't do so well in my midterm. And the thing is, I used to procrastinate after that, and I was like, I was close to failing that course. And so like I learned my lessons, like, what, I cannot do this because I was getting really anxious, and it was very difficult. So one thing is never procrastinate, because you can worry about a thing later on, but then you have to rush towards that. I mean, I don't know how people do it. People like they work better with procrastination. I don't know how that works, but the thing is like, yeah, I just talked to my professor, keep bugging the professor, asking him what are the things you want, keep digging more and more information, and talking to students, talking to other professors, regards to industrial engineering, get their peek out of it, saying that I have this problem, can you help me out there? So fortunately, there was another professor in another course. They wanted to help out the whole class actually, because a lot of students had this issue. And so he gave us ideas. We thought about it collaboratively, and I took myself like work it step by step, bit by bit, not procrastinating, and work towards that part. So one thing is like I did not procrastinate, work things as early as possible, and ask questions. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't have that in your minds. Okay, you know what? I'm scared I'm going to ask stupid questions, or
Yeah.
I'm scared that people's going to put down on me, because this is your life again, your life, regards to your career or your things like that. Don't be afraid to ask questions. So that's how I use that resources, is being proactive and taking the initiative.
Yeah, one of the worst things that you could procrastinate when you're
Yeah,
stressed out. You need to ask the questions, and again, there are no dumb questions to ask. Like to have
exactly.
ask them is better than getting a bad mark or getting a bad rep or something.
Exactly, exactly.
hmm and the next question is, when you entered the workplace after graduating school, what was something that was really surprising as being a industrial engineer and a business analyst?
So yeah, the thing is like what the misconception was that, I mean, I've heard this in my university because fortunate enough, I'm the youngest out of two older brothers. So I've heard about from my two older brothers, and I've heard it from my family.
Mhm.
And the thing is like what you learn from school is completely different from your career life or career, or even like work or personal life. And the thing is like what you do like in a math problem or a science problem, like assignments and labs, those things are not be the same thing in your outside career life. You're not going to be working with math problems and things like that. The thing is like what I've learned is that that doesn't mean that school is completely useless. That's not what I mean. The thing is,
Mhm.
what I've learned from industrial engineering is it teaches you how to problem solve, regards to anything, right? So it teaches you how to problem solve. So it's not regardless of, not really like working with math problems in your work, but problem solving in regards to that part. What's really surprising is that there's other factors involved in regards to soft skills. You learn the technical skills at school because it's all theoretical, but the soft skills are really important towards career. Learning how to communicate effectively, learning how to analyze, learning how to listen attentively. Not just learning want your voice to be heard, but listen to other parties have to say. But I think the biggest thing is learning to communicate effectively, learning sometimes, learning how to say no sometimes, and learning how to say yes sometimes, learning how to work under pressure. So these things you don't learn in school, and these things you learn along the way. And the thing is, even like applying for positions, like my experience is that the GPA or the GPA university or marks do not really matter. What it really matter is your character, your personality, and how do you think across a problem. And that's where, like, of course, like, people ask, like, I mean, you're applying for a position that they're saying 5 years experience. How the heck do you get 5 years of experience when you just graduated from school? Which is fine. I mean, you'll come across that, but always like think about it. Always have that, again, the why behind it. Why am I doing this project? Why am I doing this assignment? How can I learn from this? And just taking to the next level and just seeing how to improve upon yourself. And this is to take the opportunity to, when you're working with the teammates, learning how to learning how to effectively communicate, project management to your tasks. These things are something that the interviewers will be asking, is like, how did you come across any situations in the projects, any difficulties you have? How did you go about it? How did you use a project management? Like sometimes you can use project management tools or certain type of tools within your projects or extracurricular activities. This is where interviews are looking for. So this was something that was surprising towards that part. This just like is completely different from what you've been taught in school.
Yeah, it's really good. It's like sometimes we think that school is just everything that we need, and of course it's important. But having those soft skills and having those like skills that are like I don't know, just like asking for help and like you said, and just being there and having a good communication is also really important.
Yeah, and one thing that just came out in my mind is also like learning from failure. This is thing like you'll come across, just have this thing in your mindset that even for my interviews or even networking with people, oh man, when I network with this person, he's gonna guarantee me to have a job. Never have this in your mindset that, okay, you know what, my main purpose for just connecting with someone else or interviewing is to get a job right away. And the thing is, it takes time, it takes patience, and you will fail along the way, and you have to be expected with that. And the thing is, do not have this in your mindset, and let not that thing come into your mind. Okay, I'm a loser, I'm a failure, things are not working out well. The thing is, like, it's not based upon your person. Sometimes you just have to work upon your strategy or work upon along the way. Okay, what I've learned from the past, okay, I shouldn't have said this and should apply this next time. Like for example, in my work, like I should have just looked at my work procedures thoroughly before I submit it. And so you're learning along the way. So that's what you learn from the past failures.
Yeah, that's really important. And the last question regarding engineering is just, if you could give any one piece of advice to someone who wants to pursue a career in industrial engineering, what would you give that advice?
Yeah, so one thing I've learned, and something coming back to surprising, was that I didn't even know this in my second year, was make sure you brush up your skills with statistics and probability, because those things are actually useful for industrial engineering. Because if you understand those terms, you'll be using it in your other courses, and you get a better understanding of courses, things like that. And just remember that it's different from other engineering programs where it's a mix. It's a non-technical program compared to aerospace, computer. It's a mix of business and engineering. So you're mixing non-technical with technical, and the thing is, you have to learn how to talk to people, learn how to work with people as well. And the most important part is networking with people, networking with your students, networking with your teachers, because you never know when you graduate from university, even if you're looking to start up your own business, once you build a relationship with your student, with your classmates, whether it's good or bad or neutral, you can work with them because now you have built a rapport with them, and you're familiar with them the first time, and you can work along the way, and you can be comfortable and asking more questions and and understand and talking to them with your own pain points regards to that your classmate or anyone else. So it can help
Mhm.
regards to that. So the best thing is statistics is one for industrial engineering in general. Networking is really important. Yeah, problem solving, like math skills, um, and yeah, just the thing is like don't have this in your mind. Okay, because you will have courses where courses, bad courses, it is not helping me learn, and people just skip classes. And the thing is just
Mhm.
like just learn along the way. Just use like I think the number one thing is just networking with people, connecting with people. That's number one.
Yeah. Yeah, networking is really important, I think, in all industries and all jobs. Like you
Yeah,
don't know what could come about it, so just having to network with that is really important.
yeah, of course.
So you guys may have recognized Brother Nauman from the New Year's goals party, and he actually gave us a few videos about habits that Brother Ruswan used, and even made a special guest appearance. So I thought we would even talk a little bit about habits today. So my first question is, like, what are some habits? Sorry, when did you start having an interest about learning more about habits and trying to implement them in yourself?
Yeah, so I talked about this in the New Year's goal party, me as a special guest as well in my videos. Is that when I graduated from university and I was free, I was applying for jobs, and initially did have had a job there, and then things were working out smoothly. I was so happy, even when you graduate from university, you're like off from like okay exams and assignments, no more lectures, so we always like binge on like Netflix shows and sleeping late and playing games
Yeah.
all day. So that's fine, but the thing is later on it becomes monotonous, becomes boring, and you feel like okay, something is missing in yourself, and that's what happened to me. I started to build bad habits of video games and sleeping late, uh, uh, and and waking up late as well. And so that thing really hit me hard. Is okay, I need to expand my comfort zone. I need to get out of the shell because whenever I see opportunities coming about on Instagram, on Facebook of coming out to a social events or networking events, this is going to help you. Even if applying for jobs, people like tend to just like I'm going to just apply online. But to be honest, applying online does help a little bit, but everyone is doing. You got to do something which nobody else can do it, which is like stepping outside your comfort zone and being unique and that 30-second pitch to a person. So the thing is like you the thing is I really wanted to improve upon myself and stepping outside my comfort zone, and just seeing what the world can offer, just understand, because this whole time in my years of school we were in that shell of just studying, going to classes, exams, and like that. And so the whole world is it's a completely different ballgame. And so I
Mhm.
really wanted to expand my comfort zone and improve upon myself as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a turning point that everyone has. Like, just even when you're in a rut in bad habits, you realize that it may seem fun at first, but at the end of the day, it really isn't. And that's something that just really helps us at least to create new habits and to have like a better lifestyle, basically. But
Exactly.
the second question is, like, what are some new habits that you've implemented recently in your life and gotten rid of, also?
So yeah, so to start off here is like, yeah, when I started this in the past, this challenge that I did in the past with some other group, um that part in the beginning I had this dilemma too. Is like, what habit do I choose? I don't know which habit to go upon there. But is this based upon like what was calling in for me? And so the good habits, fast forward later on, the good habits I picked upon was the fitness habit, so the exercising, strength workouts. Another habit was meditation, so meditating 10 minutes each day, every morning. And another habit was just reading now. Just that's my new habit right now. So like right after dinner, when I have my dinner, I just go up to my room and start reading. Whether it's like learning a course or talking to people and learning from each other, or even reading a book. So the thing is, what really sparked with me was that something that was really calling in me to do it. So the first one that I picked up was meditation, because during that time of applying for positions and from external external people saying that you need to step outside your comfort zone, you need to get out of your shell, you need to start applying more and more jobs, you're not doing enough. So those things were really putting me down. It became more and more negative. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do in my life. I'm unemployed, I don't have any money. uh what can I do? And I used to get so irritable, I used to be frustrated, used to
Mhm.
like you know like have been many bad days and always been in the bad mood. So I was like, meditation really helped me out and calm down my emotions and really think about and reflect upon myself. Like, what is my conscious telling me? What is my inside telling me about? So it is really like, shutting off the external parts as well, understanding your internal. What is that you really want? But also like being in the present and not get too caught up in your negative emotions and negative thinking as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, meditation. Those are the three important habits that was touched upon in the previous challenge was reading, fitness, and meditation. And the thing for me is that I had the free time to do it. And some people, I mean, people have their own circumstances. They're married or have kids, and it's okay if you don't do those things, but you just start little by little along the way.
Yeah, that's really good. Like some people may get overwhelmed with habits, and that like you hear like so many different types of habits that you can implement, and it gets overwhelming. But if you start off with at least one, I think that's what sets you up for success later on.
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm. And what is a common misconception that you find when people are trying to implement habits or even trying to get rid of other ones?
So I'm sure everyone has this in their mind. And just the new year came about, and people were so ambitious, so motivated, and then they say, what, I'm gonna be myself 360 degrees, and just like, I'm
Hmm.
just gonna like be a new person. And first month, second month, third month, what, I'm gonna do buy a new treadmill. You can see like you can see on Amazon, you can see on like online shops where treadmills are like a special discounts, and you can see gym membership with special discounts because that's where everyone's coming in and starting the new habit of fitness. And it's like, I want to do fitness, I'm going to do cooking, I'm going to do this. But the thing is like, uh, you're becoming too ambitious. You're putting in too many habits at the same time. And one misconception is that you're slowly going to burn out because you too many things at the same time. And that's the thing, because you lose the motivation. You're going to burn out, and then you say, what's the point? This is not helping me out. Life is happening in the way. Uh, there's no system in place. I don't know how to do this in the right system. So the thing is, you have to build a right system towards building a habit. And so the thing is, you got to understand the psychology behind how to build habits. And then along the way, the misconceptions that you have to build a habit one step at a time. Build one habit at a time. Uh, and the thing is, it depends on how big the habit is. It's the misconceptions that does not take you 21 days. Yeah, I mean, small habits, yes, small habits can take 21 days. Some of them can take a few months, but huge habits like meditation, honestly, I'm telling you, meditation took me a while to get in tune.
Yeah.
Because and the suggestion is that if you're new to habits, meditation is a really tough habit to stick upon because it requires a lot of concentration and focus. So you got to pick a small habit, easy habit to build up that motivation. And the thing is, yeah, one habit at a time, and they'll step by step. You start with, like I said in the videos, 1 to 2 minutes, slowly and slowly as you get, monotonous and hitting a plateau, then slowly increase the intensity in regards to that point. So the thing is, you have to build the foundation first, understand how to build habits, and then do that. Because the thing is, people do get too ambitious and they want to be action oriented. It's like, I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to do this right now. Because they get so excited, and then
Yeah.
later on the burnout because they don't have a system in place. And that's the thing. You have to have a goal in mind and achieve. Okay, what do you really want to achieve? And then from there, you build a plan, build a concrete plan, a foundation, and then there you can slowly start. And the thing is, like, it doesn't have to be set in stone. You can make mistakes. You can make it be pretty vague in the beginning, but slowly on, you'll tweak upon it and improve upon yourself and become more specific. And inshallah, you'll build more habits along the way.
Yeah, because even like meditation, I'm just thinking of like it is definitely a commitment, and it's definitely probably a lot to try
Yeah.
to get yourself to do because it even though you can meditate for 5 to 10 minutes, it can be your hardest 5 to 10 minutes to do. So it's like once you get it, but of course you have to build that foundation first, and that's really important.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, initially, that's what I thought is like, okay, I really like to build a habit of meditation. It's like, oh man, when I looked upon it, because I didn't know how to build meditation, I was like, oh, 5 minutes is nothing. I'm gonna just sit down and do it for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I did it once. Honestly, I was like, oh my gosh, because practically you're doing nothing. Honestly, because your
yeah,
mind is like school, exams, or if you're married, you have a spouse, you have a kids, you're so busy, and then it's like sitting down, it's like, okay, what am I doing? And then thoughts are coming in your mind, like, okay, I have to cook something, I have to study for my exams, I
Yeah.
have to do this, I have to do that. So 5 minutes is really difficult. So that's the thing. Like it's
Mhm.
better to start small and then increase your intensity from there.
Yeah,
But
and my yeah. No,
yeah.
keep
So
going.
but anyways, like we have this challenge coming up in March, and the thing is like it's an exciting challenge. And the thing is, yeah, gonna be building the foundations first, understand how the habits go along, and then slowly there together we're gonna be start to build habits along the way. So it's gonna be a fun event.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be exciting. Brother Naman will actually be one of the leads for this, and we're gonna have accountability and everything, so it's gonna be really important. And we hope you guys can all join us. More information will be coming soon. But the last question is, are there any resources that you would recommend for someone who's interested in learning about habits? Maybe even initially some resources that you use once you start finding that interest.
Yeah, so this is the thing that, yeah, I mean, this is one thing that I just realized that for my reading habit, I should learn to read the book of The Power of Habits and The Atomic Habits. I'm sure some people know about this book. It's really famous. I mean, this is what had been used in my previous challenges, and I should, like in my reading habit, is to read those books there. Yeah, so those two books, and one book actually, my brother, because I talked to my family about building habits, and one book actually he was reading is called Better Than Before. I think it's a long title, but the beginning of the part is called Better Than Before. But I think there's another part to it is like Better Than Before and building habits along the way, something like that. But
Mhm.
one thing that my brother was telling me, or the family about, which is really interesting, that I wanted to talk about my in my community, in my previous challenge, was that before you build your habit, you have to first know who you are. What is your make like? What is your
Yeah.
personality? So just to briefly talk about it, he talks about four quadrants. So one is like obliger, upholder, questioner, and rebel. So that pretty much is like, where do you get your motivation towards building a habit? So for example, if you're obliger is something that you built, you really motivated on external things. Like for example, when you're working out, okay, I actually get more motivated, or I really like to work out with a group fitness rather than myself. If I do it by myself, I'm not going to work out. You really
Hmm.
solely rely on external motivation. Or for a course, I rather take a class rather than studying by myself. Um, if you're upholder, you're a person who's internal and external. So you have that internal motivation and also external motivation. So internal is like if you miss a day of the habit, or if you procrastinate, you feel bad because you have this thing in your mind like, I really want to improve upon myself. And also you have the external where someone can support you and help you out. And then you have the questioner where, whenever you do new changes, you question yourself. Okay, why do I want to do it? Before I do anything, I don't want to act upon it. I want to first ask myself, I really want to see what's in it for me. And if it's convincing for me, I will do it. If it's not convincing, forget about it. I'm gonna ignore and move on. And the rebel is like someone who's like, you know what, I really don't care about external or internal. Like you pretty much got the word from it. So being a rebel. So that's one thing I didn't know about, which is a really good added thing upon is that first you have to understand what is your make, because that would help you to build upon habits easier based upon that. So that's a new book too. So Better Than Before. You can search up on Amazon. I think it's something to do with habits in the title. I don't forget to. It's like a really long title. So
Yeah.
that's a new book. There.
Yeah, no, those are some really good recommendations. I mentioned this before to you, but I did start reading The Power of Habits because of your guys' recommendations, and
Yeah,
honestly, like, I love the book so much. It's definitely a must read, honestly.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's yeah, I recommend it. But just thank so much, Brother Naman, for joining us today. I was just so happy that you were able to come on and you had a lot of cool things to talk about from the engineering aspect, but also the habits aspect. And you'll be seeing more of Brother Naman in March when we do have the program coming out. But yeah, just thank so much for joining me.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting, guys. The habit, and honestly, you guys are going to have a blast towards it. And honestly, you're going to have a mind blowing and mind changing and very surprising towards that. And one last point is that for those of you, like, I'm not here to promote anything or any sales talk here, but my brother, like I said, my second brother who did medicine, and was coming back to do his teaching business. His teaching business is called Mo's Method. MO'S method. And he's primarily teaching high school students from grade 9 to grade 12 online, even in the office himself. He's not a high school teacher. He's just doing teaching things, teaching courses, math and sciences courses. So feel free to check out his website. He has demo classes. Feel free. I'm not here to pitch you in anything. Just just there if you guys need any help, students. If you need any help with courses with regards to that, just check out the website. He has demo courses there, and you can feel free to see how he teaches. But I just like to promote that there.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm sure that everyone appreciated that. So Jazakallah so much. And Jazakallah for those of you who are watching at home. Inshallah, we'll see you all soon next Thursday. Assalamu alaikum.
Islam, take care.